Sky Talk, welcome back to the channel for the next edition of our League 2 predictions. So far, Will is in the lead. Yes, we've only had 3 episodes. I have 25% of my predictions this season correct. George has 42, but unfortunately, Will has 50%, and he will not let us hear the end of it already. If you want to play along in today's episode, then in the comment section below are all the fixtures for this game week. If you copy that, paste it into the comments, and put your scores in, whoever has the most correct will get a shout out on the next, which will be Saturday's edition. Or the edition for Saturday's fixtures. We're also introducing, I've been doing it a few episodes, a star, which is going to be our game of the week, and we'll decide which we think is going to be the best game in League 2 this weekend coming up, or this game week, as it's a midweek round of fixtures. And you can also let us know in the comments who you would have as your starred match this week. First game up then to predict is Newport against Salford. Interesting one. Salford obviously beat Notts at Meadow Lane only a couple of games ago. Were very impressive in doing so and did it with relative ease. And they continued their good form again on Saturday. Newport, again, surprised me at the start of this season. I thought they might be right down there. They drew with us. And then they lost very, very, very late on, 90+4 against Grimsby on Saturday, which will be gutting for them, but they could take heart in their performance. I think it's a really tough one to call, but I'm going to kick off my predictions with a 2-2 draw. Next up is Bristol Rovers at home to Oldham. Oldham, a side that have come up from the National League and found it a little bit difficult, as have Barnet. Both sides yet to get a victory. Barnet actually yet to get any points. Oldham have 2 points, 2 draws in their opening 3 fixtures. Bristol Rovers have lost every game, which is wildly surprising. I've got them finishing in that top 7 spot in my pre-season predictions. Check that out on the channel if you haven't already. But I don't see the trend continuing with Bristol Rovers. I think they will get their first victory. I think it'll be a bit of a slog and I'll have to really grind it out, but I can see a Bristol Rovers 2-1 win. Game 3 is Cheltenham against Bromley. Now, Bromley, I remember last season thinking there were a lot of people's favourites to go down, and I thought to myself, they are going to be a team that have to get off to a really good start. And last season they did, and it was quite evident, but quite, midway through the season that they were not going to get relegated. And they had to start off this season well again, just because of who Bromley are and the size of the club. I think they were tipped by a lot to go down. I personally didn't have them as to be relegated. And they started off well again, unbeaten, 5 points. Cheltenham, on the other hand, tipped by a lot to go down and sit rock bottom of League 2 already, which is a big, big ask. Absolutely hammered by MK Dons. Look, a lot of teams will get absolutely hammered by MK Dons, but the teams MK had already played had kind of held their own for a lot of that game. They absolutely got destroyed by MK. Cheltenham are the home side, but I don't see much hope for them this season, but I think they will pick up their first points. I'm going to go for a Cheltenham 1, Bromley 1 result. Colchester against Cambridge up next. An interesting one. I think this will be an interesting game. And it's one I could see going either way, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. 1 loss between the sides in their 6 games to start the season. Colchester picked up their first win away at Shrewsbury, who Notts do play on Wednesday night. It's the only Wednesday night fixture in League 2 this week. It's a good win. It's a good victory. I see Shrewsbury as a side that will start to pick up form. Cambridge, on the other hand, I think a lot of people were sort of blown away by the signing of Mpanzu, and he's not really got into it as of yet. And I think when you get a player and you look on paper, he was playing the Premier League 12 months ago, it can make you think he's going to carry the team on their back. But it hasn't quite started like that. But it hasn't been the worst start from Cambridge so far this season. I am going to say a team that I tipped to do well this season, I'm going to say they get the home victory. I'm going to go for 2-1 Colchester. Crawley at home to MK Dons. MK Dons haven't conceded a goal yet this season. They've scored 7. They've conceded none. They smashed Cheltenham, as I've already said earlier in the video, on Saturday. Crawley, on the other hand, I thought they'd have started a little bit better. They've got Scott Lindsay, who they see as a bit of a talisman in charge. But they're the home side. And although MK did get a very convincing victory, I'm still going to say that they're still betting in this season. I think we'll see, results like this throughout the season where they'll put 3, 4, 5 past teams. But I'm going to say Crawley, who've only scored 1 so far this season, I'm going to put my neck out a bit here. I'm going to say it's going to finish 2-2. and I think Crawley are going to pick up their first points of the season. Next up, it's Fleetwood at home to Crewe. Both sides will be very, very happy. In fact, maybe delighted, you could say, with the start to their season. Crewe sit top of the league, 9 points from 9, an absolutely outstanding start from them. 6 goals scored, 1 conceded, and Fleetwood 7 points after losing, Brendan Wirradu, and there been a little bit of optimism around some of their signings, but on the whole, really, a lot of people thought they might just be mid-table this season and may struggle to really pull up any trees. They're both going to be really, really happy with their starts. They did maintain their unbeaten run, Fleetwood, with a 94th minute equaliser away at Bromley. And as I said earlier about the Grimsby goal and the momentum that a last-minute goal can get, equalising and keeping an unbeaten run, albeit 3 games into the season, could be really, really beneficial for Fleetwood. I think it's a very, very difficult game to call, with Fleetwood being the home team. If Crewe are at home, I probably would have edged towards a victory for Crewe, but I think Fleetwood are going to win, and I think they're going to inflict the first defeat on Crewe this season. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Fleetwood. Gillingham at home to Chesterfield. Chesterfield, a side that many predictors do well this season, and they've started really, really well, haven't they? As much as it pains me to say as a Notts fan. Gillingham, a side I'm never really sure about. I struggle to get excited about, anything they really do. Nothing against the club. I just feel like over the last few seasons they've been a very dull, boring side, and things have seemed, very, very difficult to just gain any kind of momentum. Even when they were gaining momentum last season, there was a lot of draws in there. Yes, they were avoiding defeat. Chesterfield, the away side, going on a Tuesday night to Gillingham. I think it's going to be another interesting game. Both sides, again, like a lot of fixtures so far on this game week, both sides are unbeaten. I am going to say that Chesterfield continue their 100% record, though. I think they're going to go there, and I think they're going to get a 1-0 win. I think it's going to be very, very hard fought, but I'm going, Gillingham 0, Chesterfield 1. Next up, we have Harrogate at home to Barrow. Harrogate will be very, very happy with the start of their season, unbeaten so far, some decent results in there as well. Barrow, who I travelled to watch Notts at the weekend, scored with a 97th minute goal, virtually the last kick of the game. The ref played on for like another 5 seconds. But some good scenes in the home end if you don't support Notts. So there's momentum there. They really did need that win. They hadn't scored. They hadn't, I believe, had a shot on target in the league before that game. But they didn't have to do much to beat Notts. They didn't really have to get out of first gear. And I'll go on to Notts again in a little bit when we go to they're the last game, as it's the Wednesday fixture. I think Harrogate Barrow will be a 0-0, straight up a 0-0. Yes, they scored 2, but they played a very poor Notts defence, and I just see the teams cancelling each other out. Swindon at home to Barnet. Swindon, 2 wins and a loss. Barnet, 0 wins, 0 draws, and 3 defeats to start the season. I know we're early on, and I did the video with Jordan on the channel of our pre-season predictions. I just didn't get the hype around Barnet coming up. I thought they would struggle. Yes, as I've just said, it's very, very early on, but I think they will find this league difficult, as have Oldham so far coming up. No wins, between either of the promoted sides. To then travel to Swindon, who have 6 points from 9 and are sat currently in the playoffs in 6th place. 6 goals scored, yes, 5 conceded, but they're finding the net. I can't see anything but a Swindon victory in this one. I think I sat here last season on this very channel saying that Holloway won't make it to I think I said he won't make it to the end of the season. There's no way I believed he would. He was talking about ghosts at the training ground and arguing with people, but he's done really, really well, and he created a team that are good, that are hard to beat. And I can't see Barnet going to Swindon on current form and getting anything. And I can really see quite a heavy defeat for Barnet. I'm going to say 3-0 Swindon. Our penultimate game, if you are counting along, you'll think, how's this a penultimate game? We've only done 10. Accrington Tranmere, if you didn't know, has been postponed because of the postponed Tranmere Burton game in the Carabao Cup for the power failure last week, which needs to be played. So a bit frustrating there for Accrington, but that game has been postponed and will be played at a later date. Walsall at home to Grimsby then is the penultimate game. Grimsby, the top scorers in the league with 8 goals. We knew they'd have a good season. There were question marks around Walsall though, and how they would fare after such a disappointing end. A lot of fans wanted Matt Sadler gone, but they've actually started okay. They currently sit in the playoff places with 2 wins and 1 defeat. So it's not been a bad start at all. Grimsby obviously got the very, very, very late winner at the weekend, which will buoy everyone. I think the fact that both have started the season pretty well. Grimsby, my opinion on paper, and at the start of the season, a slightly stronger side, I think equals out to a 1-1 draw. Final game then, the Wednesday game. If you're a Notts fan, don't head to Medley Inn on Tuesday. The game has been moved because of cricket at Trent Bridge. Shrewsbury haven't scored a goal this season. Do not let that fool you. Barrow hadn't scored a goal either, and then they went and scored 2 with a 97th minute winner on Saturday. It's a really tough one to call. Notts were really poor. Really, really poor. Just a lot of things going on. You know, Dennis scores a late equaliser with 10 men, doesn't celebrate. Patterson walks off at the end. We looked disjointed, poor. There were some poor substitutions, early substitutions as well. Strange ones that left us with no sub to bring on for the injured Matty Platt, who I don't believe we've heard what his injury is yet. But I do think, and this is not blind optimism as a football fan, and you know, the dust settling a few days later, I do think we are just going to have enough for Shrewsbury. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think we're going to win the game 1-0. I think Dennis is going to get the goal coming off the back of scoring. But I think we just need to go back and just, you know, back to complete basics in football. Get passing right. You know, that was a massive, massive issue on Saturday. Just passing to a Notts player. We're at Meadow Lane. If it starts badly and Shrewsbury get an early goal, which I don't think they'll score. I know I say it doesn't matter they've not scored, but I think we will get a 1-0. But anything could happen with Notts. If it does start badly and Shrewsbury nick an early goal, then it's going to get very, very uncomfortable at Meadow Lane for the players and for Martin Patterson. But I think just by two sides that aren't in good form, just by the quality we have, I think we are going to just nick a 1-0 win. That wraps up the 4th episode of predictions for this League 2 season. As I said at the start, Will is in the lead. Yes, we've only had 3 episodes with 50% of predictions correct. I did only get 3 out of 12 in the first week and get 25%. But what I would say, it was the first games of the season, which are obviously quite difficult. As I did say at the start of the video, there's going to be a starter here on one of the fixtures, which I think will be the most exciting fixture of this midweek calendar. Not necessarily the one with the most goals, just the one I think is going to be the most exciting game or the best game to watch. And then, as I already did say at the start of the video as well, there's going to be all of the fixtures in the comments. If you want to copy those, paste it in, put the scores in, and then whoever has the most correct results, not necessarily scores, it's very, very hard to predict scores, we will shout you out on the next video as the person that predicted the most results correct. Please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel.